Did Lehman Brothers change anything? No. Enron? No. Bear Stearns? No. Long-term capital? No. There's always going to be the bad actors.
Sure.
This is capitalism, and every once in a while, there's a bad actor. You just went through a whole, litany of them.
Right.
And the system self-corrects. If you do bad things, shit happens to you. But if you want extraordinary returns, you got to take risks on entrepreneurs. You have to back people that don't know their outcomes.
Right.
When it's an S&P 500, so the addendum is that you're in another tax bracket. Don't listen to what you're saying because you're balling and you can take the losses. That's it. Perfect. Perfect. You can take the losses and retail can't.
It was $18 million.
18.
Okay? And it's all gone, and I get it, but you got to understand something about venture investing. FTX was nothing but a startup, okay?
Right.
Basically 18 months old, that's it. Because at that time, the regulator was very, very negative.
Yes.
And then countries like Canada, Switzerland, United Arab Emirates, France,
right.
England, Australia, they opened up.
Yep.
And if you're an investor like me, I invest internationally, I started to allocate to it.
Right.
And obviously, at a time in 2021, when FTX was out financing, doing rounds at a $23 billion valuation. Mm-hmm. That was the hottest deal on the street. When you invest in any startup, and this includes FTX and plenty of others, 8 out of 10 times you lose your money. Since 1954, when they started compiling these stats. Sure. Now, sometimes it's alleged fraud, sometimes bad execution, sometimes bad market, sometimes bad product. But for whatever reason, 8 out of 10 times you lose money. Right. So the people that invested in FTX, people are asking me, well, isn't this going to change investing forever? No. Nothing's going to change.
Sure.
Because we
obviously,
know we're gunning for that 2 times where we make 1,000x on our money.
Right.
The next morning after I lost that $18 million, yes, I was pissed, okay? But it didn't change anything about what I do as an investor. I get right up and I go at it again because if every time I had a loser investment, I had to go to Congress, I'd need an apartment there.
Right.
I mean, we lose a lot of deals, but every once in a while I get a monster hit and it pays for all the mistakes. FTX is in the past for me. Too bad. I feel sick about it. We all look like idiots.
Right.
But we got to move on. We have to fund the next venture. We have to fund the next entrepreneur. But I was a paid spokesperson, yes. But I was also an investor. I took millions of dollars and invested them in FTX International and U.S.
Right.
So I'm getting squeezed on both sides on this point. At the end of the day, the way I look at it is, okay, I have an agent. He gets contacted and says, look, do you want to be a paid spokesperson for this? I said, I'm interested in crypto. What do we know about this company? We know that it's got the biggest investor list I've ever seen. Did Lehman Brothers change anything? No. Enron? No. Bear Stearns? No. Long-term capital? No. There's always going to be the bad actors.
Sure.
This is capitalism, and every once in a while, there's a bad actor. You just went through a whole, litany of them.
Right.
And the system self-corrects. If you do bad things, shit happens to you. And I think that's okay. That's our system. The whole idea is you can make money without being a fraudster. This is a great country. You can be an entrepreneur. You can start a company with a great product and become a multimillionaire. That's the path that people take 99% of the time. And we should celebrate that.
Okay.
This comes along, alleged fraud like this, it's going to go through the system. Hopefully, we're going to get a huge recovery for everybody that lost their money. Already, the rumors are we're at 6 out of 8 billion. They found that, 6.1 billion. Who knows what else will be coming? I want to help everybody on this situation, but I've moved on, and so has everybody else.
I have a theory.
During the period when everybody was trying to get allocation to FTX, particularly FTX US, hottest deal on the street in 2021, I got countless calls from people saying, let me in on your allocation, you owe me, we've done business together. I said, guys, it's a startup. It's a big one. It's a $23 billion startup, but it's a startup. If I'm going to take this ride, I'll do it with my own dough. I'm not going to put anybody else's money into it.
Okay.
Nobody lost money on that deal in terms of investing on it except me.
Okay.
So I don't have the problem where I owe somebody, an apology for investing beside me. I owe everybody, and all of us involved owe an apology for not knowing it was an alleged fraud. But, this happens from time to time. But in my mind, I can go to sleep every night knowing that it was my money, I lost it, I ate it, shame on me. But it doesn't change what I do in the morning. I'm a very fortunate guy. I can take huge hits and I move on and I keep going. That is the essence of entrepreneurship.
Totally.
You're going to get kicked to the ground once in a while. All of my money on the comp, just so you understand this, by the contract was in an FTX account. So 18 comes in, as you correct, about half of it pays taxes and agents and the unions and all that stuff. The rest goes into the account. And on Saturday morning, November 10th, it was scraped out along with all the trading records. Everybody there, including me, does not know where that money is, or do they have the trading records? Do I want to hire a forensic accountant? Absolutely. I've disclosed I had 32 positions. It wasn't cash, it was crypto and all kinds of coins and tokens. And so they're all gone, and I would like to find out where they are. The reason I've gone on and talked about it openly is I think we can all learn a lesson from this, and I'm teaching this case at Harvard, actually. I think there's a lot to learn from it because it's a great example of when you do portfolio work, when you put big money to work, you got to know you're never safe. You just don't know what's going to happen. And this case is crazy. We haven't even seen the end of this yet. We don't know what's going to happen. The records are supposedly backed up on the Amazon servers, and no one's seen them yet. I don't know where that money went. I'd like to find out. And that's the same question every institution has. I'm one of the only institutions walking around talking about it, but so what? It's a horrible outcome. It's a bad investment. I've made bad ones in the past. I'm going to make bad ones in the future, but I'm pretty good at good ones as well. So that's the way it works. But if you want extraordinary returns, you got to take risks on entrepreneurs. You have to back people that don't know their outcomes. The ability to tell a company's story, to get people to understand what their mission is and the benefit of their product is highly valuable. Very. Because there's a million stories out there, and the biggest problem every company has, including giant S&P companies, is how do they get customer acquisition? How do they acquire customers? 8 out of 10 companies fail in America after 36 months because they're never able to get their customer acquisition costs below the lifetime value. That's where I change the equation. If I invest in your company, I tell your story. That's what my job is to do. Yes, I take risk. I'm fortunate to have money to invest, but I get behind it and tell the story. And that's what we do on Shark Tank. Why are Shark Tank companies so successful? Why do so many more of them make money than the traditional 8 out of 10? Because we tell their story to 100 million people every year. That's the magic sauce. So I think I'm a great investor by being able to be a great storyteller, too. People need to know what the product does. In venture investing in startups, since the beginning of time, 8 out of 10 are going to fail. I know that, you know that, and the whole world knows that because those are the stats. There's nothing you can do to change that. And I think if you're going to promote the idea of investing, you should also promote the idea of diversity, diversification. You can't put it all in any one position or any one institution. Because you don't know when there's going to be a next Lehman Brothers or a Bear Stearns or when a stock goes to zero. By the way, big companies go to zero, too. They do. And so that happens. So if you have diversification, and I learned this from my mother, never more than 20% in any one sector. We have 11 sectors in the American economy. Never more than 5% in any one stock. That is the definition of diversity. And that's what I do with my own portfolio. That's how you stay out of trouble. Listen, I spend plenty of dollars doing what I do, and I give to all kinds of philanthropic enterprises.
This is not about charity. I'm talking about the actual the quality of that work.
I do that work because people tell me, and they have for years doing it, this has really helped me. I'm happy to do it. Read the comments. I mean, if you want to be a critic, go ahead, but read the comments.
I mean, awesome.
I teach high schoolers, and I teach graduate MIT engineers. Look, you are allowed to have an opinion, and I'm glad you do, and it's an important part of the dialogue and the discussion we're having here. But at the end of the day, the more people that understand the financial system in this country, the better this country is. Now, you may not agree on the message. That's okay. And that's the wonderful thing about this country. We can have this dialogue, and we don't have to agree. And I don't agree on half the stuff you're saying. But I respect the fact you have the opinion. That's good with me.
I appreciate that. And I appreciate you.
Let me tell you what we should be worried about in this country right now, and a new ambassadorship that I have. I know you like to be critical, but I want to hear you criticize this one, okay? Are you ready? Are you ready? So everybody remembers PPP. All of our companies.
You were scamming too? No.
The point is, the program was launched, and all small companies used it. They went to their bank and got it. At the same time, another program was launched called the Employee Retention Credit. You've never heard of it, have you?
Have not.
Okay. Small business is really hurting now because rates have gone up so high on them. You know, people talk about 6% Fed rate. Small business is borrowing at 18% now. They used to borrow at 9 or 7. So it's been hell for them for the last 2 years. The government has $250 billion sitting, waiting for them to pick it up on their payroll because they forgot to go get it. It's sitting there. If you have a small business between 5 and 500 people, you can make up to $26,000 as a gift from the government towards your business one time. So if you have 50 employees, that's $500,000. If you have 100 employees, that's $1.1 million. I'm pounding the drum everywhere I can to tell every company in America that qualifies, because you only have 23 more months to get it, go file. Go file for it.
Thank you.
So my whole point is my actual daytime job is managing capital. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it for 30 years. Yeah. And, you know, it's a career I'm very proud of, and I'm proud of my reputation. I had some mistakes and losers and bad investments, just like everybody else does. But long term, the best way to do it is always tell the truth, and you never have to remember what you said. Yeah. And so everything I've told you is the truth. It's not all good news. And by the way, in investing, you are going to have some losers. You've learned that tonight, right?
Sure, of course.
And so I wish I could only have winners. I never will. And everybody that invests has learned, whether I'm involved in their lives or not, that there are losers in investing.
Yes.
That's what happens. But as you've suggested, the market does give you, on average, about a 9% return over a long period of time.
When it's an S&P 500, so the addendum is that you're in another tax bracket. Don't listen to what you're saying because you're balling and you can take the losses. That's it. Perfect. Perfect. You can take the losses and retail can't.